Val, did you know that this year, just from like January to February, like 157 men suspected suicide rate. Like, that is ridiculous.
Just in Australia?
Just in Australia.
Just in Australia.
Just in Australia.
Jesus, that's a big number.
That's just in like 8 weeks.
Big number.
8
Wow.
weeks. And then if we look back at like the statistic, like 2021 had 1,559 men. So we're on par for probably even more.
Bigger.
Yeah.
And the way that I guess the cost of living, the economy, everything is rising, it's only going to get worse and worse, isn't it?
I think, well, as blokes, I mean, we've all got families, and if you can't, I guess, I don't know, provide for them.
Well, coming from a European family, the bloke is the one that provides for the family, right? Yeah. That's the way that we've always been drilled. And I know times have changed, and it's not like that, especially not in my household. It's, me and the missus, we do everything 50-50 in terms of what income comes into the house and who does what.
Yeah.
But definitely growing up in that family where dad would be the one going out doing all the money making and mum would be at home looking after the kids and the kitchen and all that. It's hard. It's hard. The way that cost of living is going up, it's full on. It's full on.
Well, we're blokes. We're meant to be the breadwinners, aren't we? That's what we've been taught from our fathers and our forefathers. That's what's been
instilled in. Yeah, exactly.
And now, I mean, you can
and times are changing. Yeah, times are changing. But you as a bloke, you don't want to lose that.
Of course.
But things are very different now, and I guess it's a lot more extreme now, hence why the suicide rate is completely out of control.
I couldn't believe it. 157 suspected
just
deaths.
In 1 month.
Well, it says here from the 1st of January to the 28th of February. So in 8 weeks, 7 weeks.
That's big.
Crazy.
That's big.
That's crazy.
That's a lot.
That's too many.
But guys, welcome. This is our first episode of Two Blokes in a Pod, the podcast which is all things blokes. Now, when I say all things blokes, Petros, it's pretty much anything goes.
Yeah.
Anything goes. Look, we are going to be very open in this podcast. We're not here to offend, but we're here to support, to help, to have a laugh, most and foremost. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
Have a laugh. Podcasting is all about being open talk, but at the same time, enjoying it and entertainment. But I'm very excited to have you on board. You were a very big avid listener of Toilet Trash Project with me and JG. You came on one of those episodes and you just sat there. I remember when we were in that recording session, you just sat there going,
where have I come to?
What the fuck are these two guys talking about?
Yep.
We were talking about everything and anything, really.
Yeah.
The shit things we found in the media and all that. So you sat there and then you go to me, let's do it. I want to do it after, Jonathan sort of pulled away from the limelight, should I say. We had a bit of a dark period and then you're like, let's do it. I want to jump on. Let me be the new bloke.
Well, definitely the new sheriff in town, that's for sure.
That's right. So we thought, all right, well, you know what? We're going to give it a bit of a name change so we can really hit home on what we were trying to do with Toilet Trash Project.
Yeah. That
was a bit of a project name.
Yes.
But now, we're going to be real about it. Yeah. And, if every week we get two to three new blokes listening to our podcast, and you know what? I hope the ladies listen too. I really do.
Of course.
I really do, because we're not here to, be derogative and sexist in any way. We're going to be blokes. We're going to be open.
But we might be able to help their relationship as well, or maybe help their thinking about men, because we always talk about women and how we're going to help, everyone wants that book of what women want. Maybe there should be a book of what men want, what men need.
I mean, very easy to satisfy a man, but
of course. But there's more to. I think there's more to men than just 4 walls and a bed.
Well, that's right. And a lot of people, seem to think, when it comes to a bloke, the easiest way to satisfy him is, take off your clothes and let him do what he needs to do. But no, it's not that. No. There's many men out there who would prefer intimacy and a cuddle.
Yeah,
than
exactly.
It's a very,
and it doesn't have to be from women either.
That's right.
These hugs could be from men as well.
From men and
whatever it is.
Whatever else. How many? There's 72 different genders or something.
Whatever it is. I don't know. Welcome to
the... I come from a very simple world where women have vaginas and men have a penis.
Yeah.
You know, that's
black and white.
Yeah, black and white.
Yeah, but that was more of a, I reckon, up to 2000 and maybe 5 thinking. Now we're progressing in this new day and age, and it's like it's just become the norm.
I went to Europe in 2006, and I went and did a Kentucky tour, and we went through different museums around the world, right? And I can't exactly remember if it was it must have been in Paris. I'm pretty sure it was in Paris. There was a statue of, I believe it was called a hermaphrodite.
Okay.
Where it was a statue of a person. It was a feminine lower half, so like the legs and the buttocks of a female.
Yes. With
a quite manly chest.
Yeah.
But it had a dick and a pussy.
Yeah, right.
Both.
Yeah, right.
Both. And apparently that there are very, very rare occasions where a person is born that way.
Really? Now
that's what I call living the best of both worlds.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Give me a second. I want to check.
we'll have to look that one up.
So you saw that in the City of Love.
Pretty much, yeah.
Wow.
And it was in their museum, in their art gallery museum.
Wow.
Yeah, and it was just confronting. Like you just walk in, and mind you, I was a 21-year-old bloke, on a bus of real drunken American and Australian chicks.
Yeah.
And walking in and just looking at this, going, "What the hell is this?"
Yeah.
And it's a real thing. I looked it up at the time, and it's a real thing.
And then you've probably gone off and seen, ancient Greece where you've got men are men and women are women.
Alexander the Great was one of the biggest fags of of history. But hey, you know what? He did wonders for our land.
He did.
And for those listening, if you didn't realise, Petros and I are of Greek descent.
Yes.
Hence why we started with the whole European background and the way that men were brought up, to be this and to be that. And look, in all honesty, back in our time, well, not back in my time, but back in my parents' time, homosexuality, all that was
hidden.
Frowned upon.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a sin to be homosexual, because then there would be no follow on of that lineage. The man wouldn't be able to procreate, and
your name wouldn't follow, and
correct.
It was a big thing, isn't it?
But hey, men can get married to men now, so
But again, we've taken that plunge now out of our schooling life, where we went to a Greek school where we were very, I guess, sheltered in a way, and now that we've fallen into everyday life.
Do you know where my biggest eye opener was?
Yeah.
When I went to uni.
Yeah.
Leaving school, like you said, Greek Orthodox school.
Yeah.
Being sheltered, I was surrounded by Greeks day in, day out.
Yeah.
Then I went to uni, and I get confronted by a whole different culture.
Of course.
Not one. We're talking
many.
20 different cultures plus. And then, you've got the little corner where, all the, like new Australians, would I say?
Yeah.
But, the Asians, the Indians, they would, all sit together. And then you had, the little, what we called the WOG corner.
Yeah.
All the Italians, the Greeks.
Yeah.
And there would just be so much conversation between all the different cultures there. And, then you get exposed to different stuff, more personal stuff like, there was the LGBT community, and, then you get exposed to the underworld Satan followers or whatever. There was just, wow.
It's mind-blowing.
You go to uni and you think you're going there to learn, but other than the education that you're getting from the lecturers, you're also learning about other sorts of communities and stuff that you never knew about before. Because, when I went through school, internet was there, but it wasn't massive. It was after I left where MySpace came out, and then ICQ and MSN Messenger and Facebook. Facebook was created around the time that I first went to Europe, so it was like, Jesus Christ, there's a whole world of wow out there.
Yep. I had the shell shock too. I remember walking into Flinders University on my first day, and as we said, coming from a Greek school where all your mates are there, like we knew who was who, would go to lunch, at school, and if someone didn't have 20 cents, we'd just give that person 20 cents. And, I think I fell short, maybe 20 or 30 cents short at the cafeteria at Flinders, and there was no one there behind me like Peter or Nick to throw me that 30 cents. Be like, oh, don't worry about it, And I was like, whoa, what's going on here? And then, we had the corrugation there as well, where obviously if you did Greek at Flinders University, you all sort of hung out together. Not far from the Greek department, the building. But then you'd have, like you said earlier, you'd have other groups like your goth groups and this and that, and they'd spend a lot of time in the South theatres, and we're up in the North theatres, and it was like this separation. But and I remember going into my first tutorial, and I wasn't with a fellow, I guess, colleague that I knew. I was with someone. I think I was with a Chinese guy, and like now he's one of my best friends. So
and that's the thing. A university is like a United Nations within one campus, isn't it? Yeah. Whereas going back to school, it was one big community within the boundaries of that college. So everyone knew everyone.
Yeah.
You move on and no one knows anyone, and then you have to start your life all over again and make those different friends.
But even talking about that, and this is where I was trying to get to, and my point was that I went home that first week and I actually felt excluded, and I felt very panicky. Like I built this, what am I going to do? And, I remember ringing my mum and saying, Mum, I feel really anxious to go to university. Like, I don't think it's for me. It was this whole, my parents went to Adelaide High School, so that was a cultural milkshake there.
Yeah.
Why, I've just come from the one sort of background. So, like, it's,
And that's exactly, how I felt coming out of the school that we went to.
Yeah.
Because we were one culture, right? Had we been at a school like Adelaide High, or like, Underdale or whatever, a public school that was open to everyone, I believe that it would have been different. I was exactly the same with you. I didn't know where my head was at the first semester of university because I was so lost. And it was very hard to try and make that new friend after having spent 13 years with the same people every single day.
Yeah.
And we were never taught how to make that new friend because there was never changes at our school. Okay, in my year level, I think maybe we lost a couple of people throughout the time. That went to other schools and all that. And we maybe gained a couple of people, but because we were all one unit, that person quickly became part of that family, But going to and this is somewhere where that anxiety that you felt, that I felt, that people feel, can create a big storm inside one's head. Right? Look at the mental health stuff going on in America, right? Yes, guns kill.
Yes.
But it's the person behind it that pulls the trigger.
Correct.
So it's the person that does the firing. You can't, look, I'm against guns, and I'm all for gun control. But in the same respect, guns are just a weapon. Yes, freely available in America, but it's the person that's holding it that's doing the damage. And that person is not mentally well.
That's right.
Right? You look at most of the school shootings there, it's a disgruntled student or someone that has something against someone or was let off or was kicked out or something.
And that could be...
That then triggers their mind and goes, you know what? I'm going to go kill every bastard that, was against me, or those people that didn't like me, that kept me, that I was excluded from.
Yeah.
Right? That's what it's all about. And had that person gone to talk to someone and sort his problems out,
it could have, saved How many lives? Because we see mass shootings, aren't they? Then, like even I remember even going through school, you'd have those times where you feel excluded from certain groups of people where we didn't fit in because maybe we didn't play sport or we didn't play in that soccer team you just felt you didn't want to go to school. You see the headlines that go on the news and people just say, oh, that guy's a dickhead, Well, he's not. Maybe there's something behind that's triggered that person to get to that point. And that could be you and I. I mean, it can happen to anybody. Yeah. So I think that there's, it's a bit of a touchy topic because I think mental health is something that us men can't actually, even though we get the Facebook and the Instagram posts and we get tagged in Are You Okay and this sort of stuff and men's health, day and week, whatever it is. But none of us sort of maybe, we look at it and say, well, we're meant to be this strong, male figure, but we battle demons every day.
I honestly think that's what it comes down to, Petros. That's exactly what it comes down to. The fact that we're males, we have far too much pride to say, hey, I need help.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking straight. I'm in darkness right now and I don't know how to get myself out.
Yeah.
I know that, after I lost my dad, I went down a pretty dark path.
Yeah.
Now, not doing stupid things down path, as in I stayed away. I stayed clear.
Yeah.
You know me really well. Yeah. That's not me. That's not my character. Yeah. I'm always in someone's face. I'm out there. Of course. I'm not shy to
of course
stay away. But I did because I wasn't right. And that continued on to the point where I underperformed at my job.
Yeah.
I did a couple of mistakes.
Yeah.
I lost my job.
Yeah, right.
And then I just didn't know where to go. So I had to, for the sake of myself, my family, I had just had a second child. For the sake of my family, I had to sort my shit out. I had to find a way out. And I had to go talk to someone.
Yep. And there's nothing wrong with that.
But at the same time, I couldn't talk to a mate. I couldn't pick up the phone to my best mate and go, hey, I need to have a chat.
Yeah.
Because I didn't feel like my best mate would understand where I'm coming from. So I felt easier talking to a complete stranger than talking to someone who's very close to me.
Well, I think, but that when I go through these times in life, because we all do, we have things that happen in our event, trauma, and trauma creates these problems. I think sometimes speaking to a third party is always very, very powerful. It's powerful because, this person's not going to judge you. They don't know you from a bar of soap, and they're actually there to listen to and sometimes we don't want to call a mate because a mate's going to give you sympathy. And I'm not calling you for sympathy. I'm calling you for help.
Yeah. And that's the thing, that we can't differentiate that when it comes to a mate, right? You're spot on. The exact word that we should always look for in that is sympathy. Because if my best mate rang me and said, listen, I need an ear to talk to, this is right, I will instantly go on defensive mode for them.
Of course.
Right? And go, okay, that's not good. It doesn't sound great. I will instantly go into that sympathetic mode where I'll go, shit, that's, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Why am I sorry? It's not me that's needing the help. I'm not sorry. I should be saying, okay, let's look into how we can support this and work things out for you. Right? That's the reason why I couldn't go to mates. But I look at that now. I look at that opportunity and that experience and I go, if a mate rang me right now, I would know how to deal with it.
Right? That's because you've been through that part.
Because I've been through that.
Yeah.
But I still don't believe that if I went through it again, I could call my mate because they haven't experienced it and they will do exactly what you've just said. Give me sympathy on the situation.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like sometimes, as I said, we all go through things. We have an avenue of what makes us happy, and it masks a lot of things. Like, you know, you and I were in the entertainment business, and when we're out there, we have this mask that we put on for people.
Yeah.
And people don't know. I mean, in January, I went through some things, and it'd come about 9 o'clock. Well, you know, I was out at an event, and I'd have to have 45 minutes by myself time away from people. And people, they come up to you and they say, I want your confidence and I want this from you and I would love just to have 10%. And I always say to everybody, take it. Take it to curse. You don't want it. Because when you're under this high pressure all the time, people look at you, they look how you dress, they look how you talk. And I needed time away.
Don't look at how I'm dressed tonight. But you're right.
But it's a scary place. Like, it took me maybe 6 or 7 weeks. I was constantly having a panic attack. And, you know, I'm there with my best friends at these events. And I couldn't just turn to them and say, hey, you know, can you tell me it's going to be okay? Like, I didn't want that. I just wanted that breathing space to walk out of a place and have, you know, just, like I said, half an hour, 45 minutes to calm down, breathe, techniques. Like, I had to learn all these things. And you walk back in and everybody's, you know, they get excited. You're back in. You're getting those people at the event up and about and happy. And you go home at the end of the night and you think, I did all that for you guys, but nobody will ever do that for me.
No, that's right. That's right. You know, it's funny that you say that. So, you know, I've been an entertainer for many years now. You know, I'm reaching on to 30 years as an entertainer.
Wow.
And one of my biggest memories as an entertainer was when I put on my own event.
Yeah.
And I expected people to have a great night the way that it would be a great night with me behind the decks.
Yeah.
So I put on my first child's christening, right?
Wow.
So my first child's christening, we hired a hall that did the catering for us and all that. And I had, you know, one of my closest friends was the DJ.
Yep.
We had clarinet. We had bongo players.
Yep.
Had even a belly dancer come.
Yeah,
you
right.
know, all friends of mine helped me support, you know, put the event on and all that. And when it came to the time for dancing, no one got up and danced. This was my opportunity to be part of the other side of entertainment.
Yeah.
Because I'm always the one creating the entertainment.
Yeah.
But then it came to me hosting the show and jumping on the dance floor.
Yeah.
Other than my direct family for the first couple of songs, no one else jumped up. And I had 150 odd people at this function. And it was a Saturday night. People started leaving at 9:30. And I thought to myself, this isn't right.
Yeah.
What's going on here? Why are they not dancing? Do I need to get up there and DJ for them to dance? Like, is the DJ not doing the right thing? The DJ was smashing it.
Yeah.
You know, there was nothing wrong with what... It's just that they aren't the people that were going to get up and dance.
Yeah.
And, you know, that gave me anxiety because it's like, why? Why? I want people to get up and dance with me. I don't get this much. Because as a DJ and as an MC, I can't get down on the dance floor and join everyone.
Of course.
Because I've got a business to run.
That's right.
And I've got a as we say in Greek, a kefi, I've got a scene to create.
Yeah.
Right? At a party.
Yeah.
So that upset me. And that set me back on my own DJ business. It set me back.
Yeah, right.
Because it's like, why? But, you know, I had to work my way through that. And I did, obviously. I'm still here. I'm still doing what I do.
Yeah.
But, you know, it was pretty eye-opening. I don't know why. I don't know why it's still stuck in my head.
It's that because it goes back to that word, trauma. Right. It's a traumatic experience in your life. It doesn't matter whether it's a, you know, someone has to, you know, pass away or, you know, it could be the smallest thing. Like,
it could be.
People all the time, they'll say to me, oh, you know, you speak for a living. You do this for a living. Yeah, okay. And then when it comes to my event, which happened recently, oh, you don't need to worry about a speech. You know, you can come off the back of your head. No, you don't understand. I'm very well scripted in my life. I have an operating rhythm, we call it, where if I don't meet that scripting, and I know that it's not, and I don't know that it's not there, I panic because that's just who I am. Doesn't mean that, just because, now I've gotten to the stage where, over the years you become more confident, like even through the footy show, you get confidence, you build that confidence, but you still, I don't know, I got up and everyone's like, oh, you don't need to worry about your script. I said, please, I need my script, because I don't want to miss someone out, because then that upsets me too. And then I think about it. And a lot of people, they hand back the microphone, they say, thank goodness, I'm not a very good public speaker. It's the first thing that everybody says on a microphone. I hate public speaking. Well, okay, but that's not who I am. I love it. And when I come off, I think, did I do a good enough job? Did I forget about this person?
You always have that. You always have that. And that one little thing that you've experienced as an MC is going to carry on with you.
Yeah, of course.
And yes, you can build on it and you can make sure that, the more experience you get, the less it's going to happen.
Of course.
But mate, there was times where I DJ'd and MC'd at weddings, and I accidentally announced the couple coming in as the maiden name of the bride.
Yeah.
So, let's say, for example, it was Mr. and Mrs. Smith getting married, but the bride was, Mrs. Wallace.
Yeah.
I'd go on, let's welcome in the newlyweds, Mr. and Mrs. Wallace.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I just remember the look of the family at the front going,
yeah.
But I laughed it off and I go, come on, guys, I'm just testing you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's all welcome in Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Yeah.
So you get to that point where you really learn to work yourself out of it.
Of course.
Yeah?
Of course.
But had I not had that, experience and all that prior, I would have sat there and frozen.
Yeah.
I would have sat there frozen and not known what to do with myself the rest of the night.
Yeah.
And I've had many of those in my lifetime.
Of course.
Many of those.
Look, I get them too, Val. I haven't done that yet, but there are things that I've done and I'm just like, oh no, I've missed this, or oh no, I haven't said this, and I really beat myself up about it.
Yeah.
And I go home always with a smile, and I feel like I've done the best job I can, but then the next day I wake up and said, oh, I should have done this, I should have done that. How do I get better now? How do I be that better person? It's that high expectation, and because we can never achieve that, the problem is that we could be at the top and we don't even know half the time. We're just constantly saying, no, we're still at the bottom and we've got this bridge to build up. And we could be at the top. But because we just expect so much of ourselves, it's sad to say, but I don't think we'll ever be happy in what we do, because we always want to be better.
The best and the happiest entertainers are the ones that just don't try anymore.
Yeah.
They just let it all naturally flow.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And, the more expectancy we put on ourselves, the more we want to ensure that we're doing the right thing, or the more recognition that we want to know that we're doing the right thing is what will play with our mind.
Look, what about last night, for example? Like, we had spoken during the week about, I never come to any of the Greek events, right? And I'm always leave you hanging. And like, I was, I finished work and I thought, nah, I'm done. I'm tired. And then I was like, no, I can't. I haven't been out at an event this week. I haven't done a wedding, or I haven't been to a birthday. I haven't done something. I have to get back out there. Yeah. And the first thing I said to you last night, let's take this photo. Because like, for me, like, it's the hardest. People, you love the spotlight. You don't love the spotlight. You get wrapped into that world. And when you're in that world, it's very hard to get out. It's a very dark place at times. It's a very dark place. You think about what you write. You think about what you post. You think about who's going to see what in your life. And there have been times where I just want to go to Coles sometimes and just dress in just some shorts and some, moccasins. But in the back of my mind, if I see somebody, I feel like they're going to judge me on that. And it's
just to recap what happened last night. He rocks up at 12:30 a.m. in the morning, wearing a black pants, shirt, and a suit jacket with sneakers, white sneakers. So he looked stylish and casual at the same time, which was great. But I'm like, lose the jacket, bro. It's not a formal function.
But I'll tell you something. The thing that I'm wrapped in is appearance for me at the moment. And it's really bad that sometimes that I panic about it. I'll ring mum and say, Mum, like, if I send you a photo, what can you tell me what I look like? Do I look, respectable?
Come on, what's mum always going to say?
Oh, I know.
Darling,
and this is where we go back to that original topic about trying to find a third party to get that from.
Yeah.
But, we go to these nights and, like we said in the wedding scene,
do you know what's hard about this? It's, like, let's sit on this topic for a second.
Yeah.
So you go to your mum and say, hey, can you just give me some advice? What do I look like? Do I look okay? Is there something missing? And mum instantly will go, Petros, you look fine. You look gorgeous. You always do, right?
Yeah.
That's mums.
Yeah.
Okay? Always supporting their child.
Yeah.
You go to your wife
and
say, hey, wifey, what do you think? Do I look good? The first thing that a wife would go, why? Who are you trying to impress?
Yes.
Right?
Generic
right?
answer, yeah.
Generic answer.
Yeah.
Which is like, I'm not trying to impress anyone. I just want to know, am I looking good? Like, you know, I'm standing up in front of 400 people.
Yeah.
Do I look okay? Right? So it's like, you can't go to them for that advice.
Yeah.
You're not going to ring a bloke, mate, and go, hey, I'm going to send you a picture of what I'm wearing. Can you tell me if this is okay?
Yeah.
So who the hell do you go to for that type of advice?
Yeah, it's... And you stand in front of the mirror and you think, I look really good. And then when you get to an event, people look at you and go, oh, what's he wearing? Or, they look at your shoes, or they look at, for example, everyone talks about the no socks thing with me. I wear socks.
Yeah, but that's your image now, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but that's what it's become, hasn't it? But I still feel paranoid at times that people are looking at my ankles going, look at this guy. Yeah, there's always...
I just look at your ankles thinking... Who the fuck buys a pants that's so short?
Do you know what someone told me though one day? I like the Black Prince shoe that Aquila does. It's called the Black Prince. Beautiful shoe. It's a shiny shoe. And this guy came up to me and he said to me, you look magnificent. And I felt for the first time really good about myself. I said, thank you so much. And he said to me, I know why you bought your shoes. And I said, why? He goes, so you can check out your hair.
Oh,
as a reflection. And I was like, whatever you just told me now, I'm paranoid now about my shoes. Thank you so much. So I went off and changed into white sneakers. Like, that's what I did. I just felt paranoid. What my point about all of this is that I've just become so paranoid that there are times that I don't know who to talk to. And I like, and this is what about this show and about this podcast is about feeling like I can release this off my chest for others to say, you know what, I feel the same.
Yeah.
And I'm not the only one.
And that's what we're going to do. We're going to start inviting people to send us messages, emails, contact us through our socials. Drop your questions, blokes, chicks, whatever. Drop your questions, and where we can, we will give you some blokey advice.
Yeah. And if you want to make a fake email address because you're a female that wants to comment in, do it.
Yeah, so we can, I don't care.
We don't care. We just don't care.
You can, what's that, that thing, catfish? Is it catfish? Where you act as someone else?
Yeah.
And you just drop real weird shit?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can catfish for all I care.
Yeah. Anonymous is the best way.
Yeah, just do it. Like, create an email
and if you don't know...
I hate blokes at gmail.com and just send us messages. I don't care.
And if you don't know how to write it, just use ChatGTP.
That's right, yes.
How good is it?
Yes. Oh, God. I actually asked it to write me a song about a chicken who fell in love with a sock. Right?
Did it do it?
Dude, I'll have to read it. I have to log in and read the lyrics to you.
Yeah.
It was goddamn hilarious. It was hilarious. And instantly... 0.5 of a second, and he wrote a whole song versus a parrot. Oh my God, it was just amazing. But just going back to your paranoia about the way you look and all that, do you think that it's today's society that plays a big role in that paranoia?
Of course.
Because going back, let's say 10, 15 years ago, right? Like, I'm a few years older than you, so I'll say going back 10, 15 years ago, to me, a bloke would go out wearing a pair of black or brown shoes, right? Jeans, and being wog a shirt, and that's it.
Open shirt,
right?
To show your cross,
top 2-3 buttons, show the hairy chest, and Then eventually, over the time, we became a little bit more cash, and now I go out in a pair of jeans, white sneakers, like my Air Force Ones that are all white, and either a black shirt or a T-shirt, a black T-shirt, like I did last night, just a black T-shirt.
Yeah.
Right? Plain black T-shirt. And, that's my comfort mode when I go out.
I think, though, as we've gotten, maybe it's because we're getting older, and someone said to me recently, when you get older, you can't wear that cool stuff that you used to wear when you were younger. There are times and period of life where...
Do you remember that period of time where everyone had those fucking T-shirts? Ed Hardy?
Oh, I got one. I love it.
With the diamantes and shit all over it.
I wore it to an event recently.
Dude. I remember those T-shirts, and I got myself one, and I'm like... I wore it once, I reckon.
Yeah.
It was a red T-shirt with the Ed Hardy shit all over the front. I'm like, I look like a wanker.
Thanks.
I actually look like... No, but for
me...
I
know. Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, there were blokes out there that I'd probably turn for that looked really good in those fucking tops.
Yeah.
But for me, it didn't go. It didn't suit me. Whereas throw me in a magenta pink T-shirt or top, right? And my skin color really fucking blends in with that shit.
Yeah.
All right? And there's other blokes out there that are more masculine and manly and buffier, and they can't wear that.
Yeah.
So, it all comes down to, the color of your skin and all that. And I'm like, fuck, man, I just want to put a T-shirt, pants, and shoes on and get the fuck out. I don't care. I don't have a fashion sense. But yeah, I do have a paranoia of how I look, though, when I'm in front of people. If I'm casually going out, I don't care. But if I'm standing up at a wedding talking to people or at an event that I'm emceeing at, talking to people, I have to know that I'm looking okay.
Yeah.
In my suit jacket, in my shoes, I have to know that I'm looking okay.
Look, I won't go to an event, and this is a off the record sort of thing. And I probably wouldn't say it, but I'm going to say it because it's an open podcast. But I won't go to a wedding unless I've shaved my legs and my hands and my arms. Like, I've just got this thing of like paranoia that people look down there and they're like, "Whoa, what's going on here?" Do you know what I mean? Like,
I think we'll just stop the podcast right there. What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Before I came last night, I had
Do you wear leather pants?
No. Not leather pants. I wear 3/4 pants.
Wow. You shave your legs before you go out to an event?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know what it is. I think.
What about your ball sack?
Oh, that's always
like there.
Yeah. No. The ball sack's always there. Yeah, but I'm saying like, we've now invested.
Have you ever used nut butter?
Nah.
Get yourself a tub of nut butter.
What is it? Is it like a hair removal?
So there's a company called Bare Nuts.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a men's only hair removal product.
Yeah.
Right. You slap it on the balls and the dick and all that.
Yeah.
And you leave it there for about 5 minutes. It stinks like shit.
Yeah.
It stinks bad, like burning hair.
Yeah.
But then you wash it off.
Yeah.
And the hair just naturally falls off with it.
Wow.
And it's fucking smooth balls.
See, for me, like I spent my whole life using a shaver, right? Not a razor, a beard trimmer. So I'll trim my face. No, I wouldn't trim my balls after. But what I'm saying is that was what I used to use.
I do. I have 2 different blades, and I just change the blades. One for the dick and one for the face.
Yeah. Like, this is what we do anyway. And someone in high school said to me one day that he came into school because when we were at high school, it was the in trend to have no hair on the body. It was weird. And one of my mates was like, I won't name him on the show because it's pretty embarrassing, but he said to me, "Man, last night I got a slice in my balls, man, and it wouldn't stop bleeding." And since that day, I have been so scared when it comes to using my that I'm going to cut my balls off, basically. So I thank you so much for telling me about this new thing because I'm going to use it every week.
I will send you the link.
Yeah.
To Bare Nuts or Nut Care Australia, whatever they're called. Yeah. Trust me.
Yeah.
You will thank me 1,000,000 times for this.
Yeah, right. That is awesome, man. Because as I said, that's the only part of my body that I'll use a beard trimmer. Everywhere else, I'll use hair removal cream or one of those pink Gillette blades and whatever it is. Anyway.
Yeah.
So.
But no, look, I mean, paranoia, appearance, confidence, all that comes down to, mental health.
Yeah.
and the way that, how do we stabilize our mental health to know that we are okay, we are on the right track? Who can we talk to and all that? Yeah. The beauty about here in Australia is we've got services that are complete anonymous services, like Beyond Blue, the Black Dog Society. Yeah. There's so many places, and there's even men's ones as well. And we will talk about these throughout the course of our podcast and get some guests on to talk about it with us. But you know what? Let's talk some fun.
Before we do, can I just finish off saying something? I know what the key of it all is. It's social media.
Oh, absolutely.
Social media has given us a thing of, we look at these. I've got, I follow like trillion billionaire sites and all these pages on Facebook and Instagram, and you see these men that dress so confidently, and you think, I have to be like that in today's age. Just what everyone's doing. So I think that's where
the gram.
It's stemmed from there.
And the shit thing about it is, whatever you search, it changes the algorithms in your gram and TikTok and all that, and you'll bring up the stuff close to what you've been searching. So then you get thrown into this deep, dark world of, men's fashion or men's appearances or whatever, and it's like, I want to be like that. I want to look like that, And you're right.
And that's where I think
it's a big spiral.
Yeah, and that's where I think it's a down spiral, because you get trapped in that world.
Yeah.
Like I said to you last night, we took that photo. Do we look all right? You know what? I'll edit it. Don't worry. I've got an awesome filter ready to go for that photo. Do you know what I mean? Like we tried to.
Which, mind you haven't even sent it to me yet.
I will.
Have you uploaded it yet?
No, not yet. No. Not yet. I will.
But I used to work with this lady, and she was mid-50s. At the time that I worked with her, I was early 30s. So a good 20-odd years older than me.
Yep.
She's, by this stage, had her kids. One was 20. The other one was, mid-teens. Pretty well-off lady. Yep. And she just went through this crisis where she really started doing like Botoxing and, all these different fat treatments on her neck. And like one day she rocked up after having a whole set of cosmetic injections, and her neck went from flat to fucking out here.
Really?
Like she had a balloon in her neck, right? But apparently it was like only a 48-hour thing until the injections calmed down.
Wow.
And I looked at her, and she came to work in a scarf that day, and she showed me, and I'm like, why the fuck would you do that to yourself? You looked fine the way you were. Why would you? But it's all about, because she was addicted to social media. This person does that, and I want to do that. I want to try that. That clinic over there does this. Spent hundreds, if not thousands of dollars on cosmetic appearances.
Wow.
And I'm like, this is what you call a midlife crisis.
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Well, look, if you're getting Botox in your forehead, I understand. It's actually really good to stop migraines. Did you know that?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, there you go. Someone told me the other day.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I've got this line in my forehead every time I move my head, and I'm like, I don't like it. And someone said, go and get some Botox put in it. And I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, I could see it, but
but apparently it stops migraines.
It doesn't affect the way you look, though.
Yeah, well, I'm conscious about it. Do you understand? Because we look at social media, we look at these photos, a reflection of us. Anyway, let's talk about this fun stuff. So,
but yeah, like, do you know? So going onto social media and all that, I had this conversation once, and I got taken to HR for it. Funny, I got taken to HR, but basically, I was in a room doing some training at work, right? And there was me, another bloke, my manager who was a bloke, and 10 women.
Yeah.
Right? That's it. We had a break, and we were talking about something, me and the other bloke. The manager walked out, and there was a couple of women there. The rest went into the kitchen to make a coffee and all that. And I was talking with my male co-worker. Yeah. And we got onto the topic of mobile phones and stuff like that. And it got to the point where he asked me, he goes, because we were talking about how attached we are to these mobile devices and technology. And he gets to this point where he goes, mate, come on, tell me, when you wake up in the morning, what's the very first thing you do? Right? Now, the answer he wanted was, I reach for my mobile phone.
Yeah.
But being a bloke and forgetting that there are women in the room, I go, mate, the first thing I do when I wake up in the morning is I scratch my balls.
Yeah.
Innocently, bloke to bloke conversation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
One of the women hears that, takes it to the manager, and then takes it to HR.
Wow.
So I get sat down by my manager. Now, I had no idea about this. 3 weeks later, after this event, I get sat down by my manager. So that's how long it took.
Yeah.
3 weeks. I get sat down by my manager and HR. And I'm like, what the fuck is HR doing in here? I thought I was about to have a supervision session or something, like a one-on-one. And he's like, I had to invite HR in to have a chat with you. I'm like, oh, shit. So I started panicking.
Yeah. What have you done?
What's happened? What have I done?
Yeah.
And then they said, on this day we did the training and you were talking with someone and you may have mentioned this. And I said, I looked at them seriously and I said, yeah, I did say that. But that was me talking to my male colleague in a joking way.
Yeah.
And I meant no disrespect or any harm to any other person with my comment. I said what I do in the morning as a joke.
Yeah.
I knew the answer he wanted, but being me and the joker that I am, I said I scratch my balls in the morning. So the HR woman looks at me and she goes, so did you realise that there was anyone else in the room? And I go, well, no, I didn't look around to see if there was other people in the room.
Because you weren't directing it to someone else.
I then explained to them, I was sitting here, my whole body and attention was focused on him who was sitting next to me.
Yeah.
There was no one else in the room facing me. Now, if there was one or two behind me, I didn't scream it out.
Yeah.
I just said, as a joke, I scratched my balls.
Yeah.
And then she looks at me, oh, that's all you said?
Yeah.
I said, yes, that's all I said. What do you what was said to you that, oh, well, this person felt very uncomfortable with what you said? I said, okay, can we please invite the other male person in here and have a chat about it, which they did. They honoured my wish. Yeah. And he came in and, mind you, we had no idea about this.
Yeah.
So they sat him down and said, on this day, you had a conversation, things were mentioned. Can you please repeat that conversation? And he goes, what conversation? And the HR said, oh, about the mobile phone technology and stuff like that. And he goes, oh, okay, where Chris said what he does the first thing he wakes up. I know, I wasn't expecting that answer, but I laughed.
Yeah.
And she goes, did you get offended in it? And he's like, offended at what?
Yeah.
That, he scratches his balls.
Yeah.
And he said it as a joke anyway. Like, I know him too long to know when he's joking or not.
Of course.
So they go, okay, so we've pretty much just wasted everyone's time. I said, yeah, you have. Why didn't you just come straight to me and say, hey, be mindful of who's in the room when you're saying comments?
Yeah.
Rather than sit me down with HR and make this a recorded conversation.
Yeah.
So that was one of my first moments at this particular occupation where I turned around and thought, you know what? There are people in this society, in this environment that I'm working in, that can't take a joke.
Yeah.
I was not in any way being sexist or threatening towards females. Would you take that as threatening?
No, not at all. But again, because we live in this world where we'll talk about it a little bit later about men, but no, you don't take it threatening. It's just something that you and I would have a general conversation about. And as I said, you're directing it to this person. You're not thinking about someone else. You're not looking at someone else. You're not asking for someone else's opinion. You're just saying what you do.
Yeah.
To somebody that you're in a direct conversation with. It's
It's nuts, Petros. It's nuts. So what I really want to do is in future episodes, what we're going to focus on is obviously we're going to have the serious chats.
Yeah.
But we're going to have lots and lots of laughs.
Yeah.
We're going to have guests on. Got a couple of people lined up already.
Yeah.
One's a very controversial figure.
Yeah.
Who runs a very big men's magazine in Australia.
Okay.
Chief and editor. And we're going to have him, join the show and talk to us. And then we're going to organise some, men's health people to come in as well. We are currently in Men's Health Month.
Week, Week, I think it is.
Is it the week?
Yeah, week.
Okay.
Week this time, and then they go into a month or something.
Yeah, I know. It's like Pride Week, Pride Month, Pride Year.
But
Pride.
it should be every day. It's like, and we talk about that with Mother's Day, Father's Day should be every day.
Mother's Day, Father's Day, Valentine's Day should be every day. Everything should be every day. Yeah. Then we should just celebrate the whole, like Easter once a year, Christmas once a year, your birthday once a year. Like, thanks for coming. So we're gonna have segments of our podcast where we're just gonna talk trash and we're gonna have a big laugh. I'm gonna try and pick out the funniest topics of the week because there's a lot of really good websites out there that have a bit of male mishaps.
Yeah.
And then we'll try and talk and compare it to, our lives and bring up some funny stories of our past. Because that's what a podcast is. It's an open chat where we can basically bring up stupid things that we've done in our life and not be judged about it, right?
Agreed.
Yeah. But what else? Anything else?
Just one more thing, and I want people to, know that this is what we're here for as well. It's the fact that, we want to bring things to light being male. Like we said at the start of the show, it's hard to everyone. We've all got demons somewhere, whatever it is. Something's affecting us. So, for the listeners, for you and I as well, send us what you're feeling. Send us so we can not just help or direct you in a way, but to make you feel like you're not the only one. Because I'm sure that there are stories that I'm going to tell over this next season that are entwined with yours. It's just we're men. Men do this stuff. We're very, very, I don't know, we're a breed of people, or a breed of genre that is just, we're men. We make silly mistakes over the dumbest things all the time. And it's not just, yourself in that position. So always, whatever it is, let us know. So
absolutely, 100%. And once we get our emails and socials up and running, I'm going to, make sure that we pump that out.
Yeah.
So people can contact us, send us their messages. You want to stay anonymous, that's cool, but we want your stories. We want your laughter. We want your problems. We want to hear it all.
Even if they're sending in with their name, you can just write, please don't mention the name.
That's right. Not everyone's going to want to create a fake profile.
Of course.
So, or email. So, send it from your email and just put in the subject line to be called out anonymously or whatever. But look, we'll get to that. And I just want to make this really good. I want everyone to reach out and say, hey, you know what? Thank you. And here's my problem. This is where I'm going. This is what, And when we do have the panel experts on as well, like, the people that really get involved with men's health and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
100%.
Obviously, one of the biggest killers in Australia is prostate cancer.
Yeah.
That's a very big men's thing as well. So,
of course.
I know you're a very big supporter. And for the last few years, you've been running an event to support money, to raise money for women's breast cancer.
Yeah. But I do it also because people don't realise that 1 in 650 men are diagnosed with breast cancer too. So it's not just a woman's thing that we see 1 in 7, but we see it in men too. So it's very, very important because people think, it's a woman's thing. No, it's not. We live in a world where it's a man and woman's thing at the moment, in this world that we live in. It's not just a men's thing so, yeah.
Yeah.
I love that stuff. I love getting around it, and, if we can help where we can.
That's it. So. And, hopefully this podcast really takes off to the point where, we can start doing a bit of fundraising for, what's really close to our heart
of course.
And the reason why we're doing these. I know there's some really good Facebook groups out there where people reach out and say, hey, I need some support and all that.
Yeah.
So we're going to link in with all these groups. But, now that you mentioned the whole, 1 in 650 men with breast cancer, a funny story from school days. I was obviously, I was taught by your dad.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. And he was my home group teacher in the later years of high school.
Yeah.
And I remember having a conversation with him one day, and he started getting a little slightly, on the shouldn't be talked about between a student and a teacher conversation.
Yeah.
And and I've always been, ever since I quit swimming and, my body went into a bit of a downward spiral. And we'll talk about that through the series on my mental health at that age and why I quit swimming and how that affected me. But I started packing on a bit of beef.
Yeah.
And, I was a bigger boy. I still am a bigger boy. But I remember a comment that was made by your dad after a conversation we had. And he goes, Valandi, you have the best of both worlds. And I looked at him confused, going, what do you mean? He goes, well, you've got breasts like a woman and you've got something between your legs. And I'm like, oh my God. And that's the open relationship and conversation that we had at that school, because like we said, it was like a family. So we could take that, we could speak like that. Yes, not appropriate.
Yeah.
But it was in that conversation, and then you take it away, and it sat with me for the rest of my life, because it's like, that was a funny moment for me.
Yeah.
It was funny because I know he meant that in a very joking way.
Yeah.
But, there you go. 1 in 650 people, men, have breast cancer.
There you go.
I didn't know that one. That's new to me.
Yeah.
But I thought I'd bring that story up.
There you go. No.
Completely irrelevant, but anyway. Go on.
I was just going to say, I'm looking forward to this. I think that, as we branch into some more deeper stuff and whatnot, and like yourself.
And I'm sorry, I know you're a very scripted person. Tonight is very unscripted.
No.
Very unscripted. But, we will, as we progress into the things, we'll bring topics and...
Yeah, of course.
Stuff that, but I don't want to be scripted.
Nah, when we do this is an open mic. This is what it's about.
That's what podcasting is.
Yeah, and I don't want to come here and bring in, my laptop with my book that I've been writing for, the last 7 years of my life. Do you know what I mean? I want to be able to say it on an open mic, and for people to understand that it's there because this is what's happened. This is who it is. This is how I've become who I am. So, and I look forward to diving into that world, because what people see is not always what is actually happening. And that's where I said earlier, social media covers.
Do you know what? There's going to be so many people that are going to see a very different side to us through this series of podcasting.
Yeah.
Because, we're being ourselves.
Yeah.
We're not putting on a show. We're being ourselves.
Yeah.
Standing up in front of people on a stage is a cover.
Yeah.
It's an entertainer, the mask on. But sitting here talking to you is myself. And, that's how we're going to go. I think we're going to leave it there.
100%.
I think that was a great first session. Yeah. And I hope that this really captures a lot of people, because we've got a lot of places to go with this podcast and a lot of topics to cover.
Yeah. 100%.
All right. Petros, thank you.
No, thank you, Val, for having me.
We'll thank you to everyone who's listening, and check us out on our socials once we get that all up and running. But this episode will be out this week. It is today, the Monday, the 12th of June, 2023.
There you go. Look forward to seeing you guys all.
See you next episode.
See you later.